All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKodash, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Shalom. And this lesson is just based off of, what's going on right now in the world. There's wars, rumors of wars. You have the small hats fighting a war right now against on what against Lebanon, Iran, you know, Syria. Hey, they're at war with everybody, but these are just rumors of war. And this lesson is focusing more on North and South Korea because from the video, this the North Koreans blew up roads leading to South Korea. They destroyed the roads so nobody can come through on either side. You have to find another way through. And I don't know enough about that country. I imagine they have maybe a demilitarized zone or an area around the border where they're watching closely both sides at the border to where nobody can cross. But this here, I have escalation from the Wiktionary.org, and it comes from the root word to escalate, meaning to go up. Matter of fact, let me go to that real quick. This is escalate in the Wiktionary. Says to increase something in extent or intensity, to intensify or to step up. Violence escalated during the election, and we're seeing that, leading up to these elections. There's another attempt on the, former president, Donald Trump's life, supposedly, but things are intensifying. So that's why I'm looking at for the word escalation, because the events are intensifying. A country blowing up roads, leading to another country, which they're the same country. It's just they've been divided, by civil war. They've been divided, so now there's North and South Korea, and so this blowing up roads. I think North Korea was sending, balloons with trash over the border. It's like it's going to continue to escalate. Things are going to continue to rise until all out war breaks out. So this is escalation, and then I'm going to go to this number 2, an increase or rise, especially one to counteract a perceived discrepancy. Oh, my bad. I'm at number 3, a deliberate or premeditated increase in the violence or geographic scope of a conflict. So this is deliberate. You don't accidentally blow up roads, destroy roads that nobody can pass through. No, this is premeditated. We're cutting off, the roads, all roads to travel. Whatever the reason be, hey, we're escalating this. We're showing that, hey, we don't care. We don't want nothing to do with you. We don't need you. So it's an escalation. It's gonna rise. It's increasing. Well, it's not outright violence yet, but eventually it's gonna lead to this. Like Yahushua said, I can't. Oh man, let me see it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it's. I can't even quote it. Ah, here it is. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth. So this is what Yahushua is coming to do. He's coming, when he comes in the chariot and the rest of the angels come with him, and they're bringing fire with them. The lasers from the chariots, they're bringing destruction with them. Luke 12 and 49, I am come to send fire on the earth. And what will I if it be already kindled? So, in other words, saying When Yahushua returns, hey, there's already going to be chaos going on. Already going to be wars already breaking out. You know, wars, all these things are going to, World War III is going to start before Yahushua gets here. The MOTB is going to be implemented before Yahushua gets here. You understand? So the chaos is already going to be going on before Yahushua returns. And this is just part of it. This is Matthew chapter 24. And I'll start at verse 6. Yahushua giving signs of his return. You know, we're looking, we're waiting patiently for Yahushua to return, because hey, he gave us the signs. You know, he told us what to look out for. The scriptures told us plenty of things to look out for. You know, World War III, Jacob's trouble, and the MOTB being the main things. And being that we're in these times, you know, we're looking out for these things, because when these things happen, we know that Yahushua is returning and the kingdom of heaven is like that is right around the corner. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So you're not hearing about wars going on right now. There's wars, conflicts going on all around the world. Wars of Israel, more troops being sent over there. You know, potential of a civil war, which it's bound to happening here. You know, World War III. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this isn't the end. This isn't the end yet. This is only really the beginning of the end. Even though we're in the end, this is just, we're waiting for all these things. These are just part of the birthing pains. You know, this is just part of the process. You're going to hear about wars and rumors of wars, but you're going to hear about it more and more often. Verse 7, Matthew 24 and verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And are you not seeing that? You know, nations rising up against each other. You know, you see the small hats in Israel. They're trying to take over everybody in that entire area. And kingdom against kingdom. And this focusing on North and South Korea, and you're seeing this. And eventually it's going to turn into an all-out conflict. You know, an all-out war, a full-on war between the two. You know, with China and Taiwan. You know, you hear about these things all over the world. You're seeing different things all over the world. Here, you know, civil war here, you know, talks of that. Matthew 24 and verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And you not see that? You know, different parts of the world experiences famines. You know, you have diseases breaking out, which you haven't really heard of anything lately, but the last one was the mpox. You know, the different STDs rising. You know, famines going on all around the world. You know, the last one I heard about was in I want to say, I can't even remember. It's in Africa, but it's Namibia. I don't think that's it. But matter of fact, I can just do. This is just the first website I've seen. I've never been on this page. Due to storm impacts on systems at NOAA's National Centers for Environmental certain maps and statistics on drought. Okay, so they're experiencing issues. Yeah, damn. So, well, this is just a map of I guess, the things going on worldwide. So, dang, Brazil, they're having dry conditions. Other places like Africa. See here, this it has a legend where places are experiencing dry and wet conditions, but this here is, I think that's the Saharan desert, all that northern region of Africa, and they're all blue. They're meaning they're having a wet season, whereas normally more the jungle is here in the middle, and they're experiencing droughts, which droughts will lead to famines. You know, Eastern Europe experiencing droughts. I think that was Ukraine. Yeah, droughts. Up in Russia, they're experiencing some droughts. This is all over the world. Even Canada, parts of Mexico experiencing, more wet conditions than usual. Brazil, usually this area, I would imagine it would be blue because it's, that's a huge rainforest area. And this is all red. But hey, you know what? I just found this website. So, even a vegetation map. Ooh, that's some more. Okay. Kind. So, hey, you know what? I just found this. You know, normally I would kind of look at different websites before I would look at something like this, but hey, I'm flowing in the spirit. Some things with Salakia. So here, this vegetation map. You have, it says unfavorable conditions. That means, I would imagine, like famines. So a lot of South America, Brazil, unfavorable conditions, and it's little pink scatterings all over it. Africa, pink, pink scatterings. Just across this blue line here, that's all favorable conditions right now. But that's also, I want to say that's kind of like between the desert and the forested areas. But northern Africa, unfavorable conditions, famines. Southern Africa, which Africa is a huge continent, but unfavorable, unfavorable, unfavorable. Let's look here. Unfavorable, unfavorable, unfavorable. You know, which, hey, you're gonna, famines are gonna be happening. That's part of what Yahweh Bashim Yahushai said would happen. What Yahushai said would happen. So back to the scriptures. All right, let me move this up. Matthew 24 and verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Now you can also look at an earthquake map. Hey, there's guaranteed there's at least, I don't know. I don't know. I can't even give you a number. There's at least one earthquake that happens today in a region where it doesn't usually happen. So pestilences, that's diseases, food diseases, you know, stuff caused by, bugs and funguses and different things. Those are all pestilences that happen to food. It can happen to people. And earthquakes in diverse places. So earthquakes all over the world. And you're seeing increasing earthquakes all over. So much so where you're seeing now in Texas, it's a normal thing for an earthquake to happen here. But moving on, let me read that again in the GNT. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6 and 7 in the GNT. You are going to hear the noise of battles close by and the news of battles far away. But do not be troubled. Such things must happen, but they do not mean that the end has come. So this is the part of the process. Countries will fight each other, kingdoms will attack one another, there will be famines and earthquakes everywhere. So it kind of shortened that, but you're going to hear about these things. They're going to be everywhere. These things are going to be popping off everywhere. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And let me see, where was I going to read here? I think 15 verse. I'll start at verse 14, and this is in the GNT. The world and the people in it are doomed. So this world, all the people that live in this world, everybody that's outside of this truth, because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to take care of his elect. And that doesn't mean, that you're not going to have to go through anything. We're going to have to go through these things like everybody else. But the difference is that our faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and his mercy on us is going to get us through. The rest of the people aren't going to know what's going on. The rest of the people, they spent their time, living in this world. They weren't even chosen to wake up. But continuing on, the world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. This is World War III. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. Do you not see that now? Nations arming up each other, increasing their arsenals. Nations testing out their ICBMs. Nations building up their armies. Pretty soon there's going to be a draft here in Babylon the Great. They have very low numbers for recruiting. They're going to need a draft. And I'm going to come back to that. This is Joel chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 9. Matter of fact, let me start up at verse 2. Joel chapter 3 and verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. So this is a valley of judgment, valley of Yahweh's judgment. This is where, in the Middle East, where all these nations are going to be gathered together for World War III. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, it says plead, let's get this word, H8199, Shaphat. And it doesn't mean to beg, it means to judge. He's going to judge these nations for what they've done. They all had us in captivity. They did what they wanted to us. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is sending his son Yahushai, and he's gonna judge these nations. He's gonna destroy them, in other words. Read 2nd Ezra chapter 13. I will also set Joel chapter 3 and verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And have not the Arabs, the small hats, have they not parted our land? Are we not scattered amongst all these nations? And I'm going to jump down to verse 9. Because all these armies of the world are going to be gathered together. And right now they're building up their armies. Right now let me just read it. Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So all these nations are preparing for war. That's what I was looking at. The North Korea, blowing up the roads. That's an escalation. They're preparing for something. And what they're preparing for is war. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So all these nations, they're not, when you have plowshares, that's a farming instrument. And you're when you're farming, you're working on agriculture, and you have peace. You have time to work on your agriculture and to do all that kind of things. But now it's no longer, the focus isn't on agriculture. The focus is on war. So rather than focusing on agriculture, a shift the focus to war. We're not building, we're not making, tractors and things like that. We're making tanks. We're making swords. We're making guns. We're building up our arsenal. So, and let the weak say, I am strong. Hey, all these weak nations, they now have, nuclear arms. Not every nation has nuclear arms, but a lot of those nations that were once considered weak have nuclear arms. North Korea, India, China. I think even Pakistan has nuclear arms. But a lot of these nations now are saying, like it says, let the weak say, I'm strong. I am strong. And all those nuclear arms, those ICBMs, are going to be shot on Babylon the Great. But this is let me go back to Second Ezra chapter 15. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15 in the GNT, the war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. And so you see that happening. There will be great political turmoil, and you see that happening here. You have what's going on here between these two political parties. They both, thinking that they're saving the nation or whatever like that, but they're in conflict with each other. This place is in turmoil. These people are suffering on both sides, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control. So you're going to be civil war, a sedition. With one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. So there's going to be civil war. They're not going to care about whoever was elected, supposedly. They're not going to care about any of that. They're looking to take the country back. Verse 17, there will no longer be free access to cities. So even there in the North Korea thing, which I didn't think it is just till now. And when you're destroying the roads, you're no longer going to have access to. They no longer have access to North or South Korea over there because they destroyed the roads. Verse 18, because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. So there's going to be terrible destruction these coming days. Hopefully within the next few months, within the next year. The elections are coming up. From November to January. No telling what's going to happen, but eventually, this place cannot stand because it's divided. Verse 19, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. So there's going to be a great famine. There's going to be a terrible famine. Terrible suffering. Where people are no longer, people are no longer gonna, care. They're gonna be uh, home invasions, more and more home invasions. People raiding their neighbors' houses just trying to find food. You know, these are terrible times ahead. But hey, Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 rest of the elect. Shalom.